Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B2 level grammar lesson and we're finishing up our discussion of gerunds and infinitives. Today we're going to be talking about verbs that are followed by an object and a gerund or a bare infinitive. And here's an example. I hear the leaves blowing in the wind. So the leaves would be the object and blowing would be the gerund. So although it is uncommon, some verbs are followed by an object and a gerund. He saw the woman gardening in her yard. So woman is the object and gardening is the gerund. So verbs that use this form include leave, feel, find, hear, watch, catch, notice, observe, discover, and spot. So she watched her son playing soccer. So her son is the object and playing is the gerund. Now complete each sentence with a gerund and you can add extra information if needed. You can pause the video, try this on your own, and then you can restart the video and I'll give some answers. These might not be the only possible answers. And if you have other answers, feel free to share those in the comments. Okay, so the police officer caught the man, we could say, stealing a car. I felt someone touching my arm. He heard footsteps wandering around the house. I overheard my parents arguing about moving to another city. She noticed Thomas staring at her from a distance. He spotted a bird sitting in a tree. And after searching for a while, I finally found him sleeping in his bed. And you might have other answers, as I said, just as long as they're a gerund that makes sense in the sentence, it's perfectly fine. And you can share other answers in the comments if you'd like. Now write a sentence about each image using a verb plus an object plus a gerund, and add information, additional information if necessary. And you can go ahead and put these in the comments as well. And here are a few more. Now to overhear something is to hear something without intending to hear it. And here's an example. He overheard his boss talking about his colleague. This means that he wasn't trying to listen, but he heard what was said. So have you ever overheard someone saying something that you shouldn't have? Now, other verbs can have an optional object before the gerund. The object isn't necessary. And here's some examples. I remember my father playing soccer with me when I was a child. I remember playing soccer when I was a child. So here, my father is the object, but you can have a sentence that's that makes perfect sense. Without it, it just doesn't give as much information. And here are some verbs that work in this way. Appreciate, can't stand, dislike, dread, imagine, like, love, mind, miss, recall, regret, remember, resent, and risk. Now you can practice completing each sentence with an object and a gerund. My boyfriend used to buy me flowers all the time. Now he doesn't anymore. I miss it. She misses her boyfriend buying her flowers. Your son often uses his cell phone during class. Well, I'm surprised. I didn't think he would do that. His father can't imagine his son using his cell phone during class. Now, some verbs can be followed by either a gerund or a bare infinitive, but the meaning may be slightly different. And some of the verbs that work this way are fear, hear, notice, observe, overhear, see, and watch. She watched him eating dinner. She watched him eat dinner. We use the verb plus the object plus the gerund to suggest that an action is continuous or happens many times. Did you hear the baby crying last night? We use the verb plus the object plus the bare infinitive to suggest that an action happens only once. Nobody saw her spill her tea. So let's look at the difference with more examples. We use the verb plus object plus gerund to suggest that we experience part of an action, not the whole thing. I watched them playing soccer across the street. We use the verb plus the object plus the bare infinitive to suggest that we experience the whole thing from start to finish. I watched him steal the package from the front door. Now match the beginning of the sentence to the end. She watched him walk away with tears in her eyes. I overheard him say that he was going to quit the team. I heard him whisper some kind words in her ear. She saw her father cry for the first time in his life. The teacher noticed the student cheating during the exam. He saw her walking down the street and knew he was in love. She overheard her boyfriend talking to another girl on the phone, and when he felt her standing next to him, he knew that everything would be okay. Now complete with a gerund and extra information if necessary. You can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. Your answers might be slightly different. That's okay if you have different answers. Please share those in the comments. So I would be angry if I saw my friends speaking or stealing a car, let's say. You won't believe what I overheard him saying about you. Every morning at 6 a.m. I hear the birds singing. She felt embarrassed when she noticed him staring at her. Now here are some discussion questions. You can put your answers in the comments. Have you ever seen two people fighting? Have you ever noticed someone staring at you? And have you ever caught someone doing something that they shouldn't have been doing? And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, participate in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.